Hello and welcome, folks, to another matchup of the high-ranking players. That's right, we've got DauT versus Slam. Both belong to Gamer Legion, both AoE 2 pros. DauT currently sitting 24th on the leaderboards for AoE 4. Slam, he's got some catching up to do. You know how you do catching up? Quick, stompy, easy games. You know how you do not do catching up? Very long games. This 1v1, folks, is probably I think this is definitely the longest game we've cast so far, and one of the longest games we've seen from high-level players. It is going to be DauT in the blue corner, playing as the Mongols, versus Slam in the red corner, playing as France. Should I do that? We'll pretend he's playing as the French in the red corner, and his opponent is playing the blue of the different variety, as he is a Mongol odd. And with that, let's get underway, because we have an ultra-late game ahead of us, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one develops. Yes, French versus Mongols, and the map that we have chosen is quite the trek. I actually think this is one of the best maps for 1v1s, even 2v2s. So this map, there's a decent balance of water and land, and if you want to go for a sacred victory, you kind of have to be somewhat present on both. More importantly, it gives people different priorities. You can actually go for the food sources via the water, or you can focus on your land expansions. And I like that kind of flexy option. Sometimes we see each side playing to each other, sometimes we see priorities elsewhere. What we'd like to see here, which wouldn't surprise me, is I'm expecting to see Slam focus on the water more heavily than DauT, because DauT is playing the Mongols. We have seen some strategies. I think the matchup we saw, this exact matchup with different players was when DauT was playing up against a high-level player as the Mongols, and he decided to go for an early transport ship rush and get on their side of the map and harass. We'll have to see if DauT actually opts for something similar, or if he tries to eco-boom up. Because make no mistake, there actually are ways you can eco-boom as Mongols. They have a surprising kind of flex on that in some regards. Remember that when it comes to their town center, they don't actually even have to get their hands on stone. They're all in on the wood, so they can prioritize wood lines. And I have seen some strategies resolving around their eco advantages and then market trading. And in this type of map, you could easily just flex up to this kind of choke point, and even without walls, kind of hold a military force here while you just boom via trading. But we'll see if they opt for that. Remember, if you do go that heavily onto the land mass, that does mean that the Slam is going to have complete reign over the water, which he can use to then run invasions on your eco lines, or also, as a French player, utilize trade ships to get 20% more gold from these drop-offs. Not to mention, remember, trade ships give you gold and wood for these routes. So definitely something to keep an eyeball on. We'll have to see how this develops. I'm expecting Slam to early on scout out and see that DauT isn't even on the water. I don't expect DauT to rush towards water. What we might see happen is similarly to what we saw in an earlier game, between Jim and Blaze. What happened in that game is that Jim was the French player, and he got 3 hulks and then stopped producing hulks because he saw his opponent wasn't on the water at all. But in this game, it looks like that's not going to be the case. So DauT is going to get on the water a little bit later. But remember, none of them are teched up yet, so it's not military vessels you have to worry about. It's just going to be the eco factor on the water for Slam currently. Of course, this would have been different if this was a Russ opponent, because they utilize their fishing in a different way where they can actually militarize them, but that's not the case for France. You will, however, still have to watch out for the early hulks, which will brutalize your on-sea presence in the early game. In fact, a lot of the time when we're talking about players up against France, the way they try and counter the sea is they try and tech-free boom quickly so that they can get access to things such as demo ships and their own hulks, which can then counteract the early hulks from the French. Remember, of course, these hulks that you get later on, the war junks, for example, I'm pretty sure they do 120 damage compared to the 100 damage of the hulks that you get as France. So you can actually have a leg up there. It all comes down to who's going to tech, though. And right now, neither of them are in a rush. Seems Slam has a better eco to actually tech up. I think he's going to hit it much sooner than DauT is. DauT, in the meantime, finally gets people on gold. He's actually kind of evening this up by putting 5, made that 6 people on gold. So he should reach a similar timing to actually start teching up. And he gets out early with some horsemen. This is the thing we didn't talk about what he was doing. He actually was getting aggressive with his early rush potential with the stable, because he did actually go straight in for the horseman, which is making doubles off with the Uvu stone. So he's actually trying to get rid of this dock early before Slam has any military presence, because there's no way a French player does anything military-wise until Tech 2, because they build schools of cavalry, and they do not build racks early on. In fact, most French strategies, remember, resolve around cavalry into archery, right? They don't go for spearmen. So he doesn't actually have a counter to the early horseman. And this means that the dock should be burnt down before he can actually respond. He's building a barracks now. And this is amazing from DauT. This is huge value. Forcing your opponent to actually invest, when they're French at least, invest in barracks is such a huge boon, such a huge advantage, because really this means an extra 150 gold wood rather is also going to be required to get archery range at least. And you're going to want archery range because the likely play for DauT in Tech 2 is going to be Magadai. And Magadai, remember, they do very slowly counter out Knights if you're in long kind of skirmishes, because while Knights can prioritize going for Villies, he has to reach the Villy line. And if Magadai are at your side of the map and chasing you down, Chivalry can't kick in because they can just range spam you and you can never reach them. So don't underestimate the difference this is going to make. Remember also, Slam has to invest more into those wood supplies. He's getting less on the sea, which means he's not able to get his hulks out. It means he won't be able to keep spamming these fishing ships out, and it also means he'll be burning more of his wood into not only spearman production, but then also he's going to need to get his hands on archers later. Not to mention the fact that that's going to be that's going to be 50 gold, 50 wood just going into the pocket of DauT for burning this structure down. Boom. In fact, I wonder if DauT just goes deeper. It's probably tempting because you can maybe scout out another dock being built. It's risky because you could get cut off, right? You could get pincered depending on the layout here. He doesn't know necessarily that there's an exit here. If we look at the scouting, yeah, he's just been following the trail. He's just focusing on the shoreline for good reason, because he needs to actually keep his opponent off the sea. This is such a cool way to actually counter out the French invasion plan via water, right? Because early hulks are, quite frankly, broken. We talked about it before. They're so stupidly strong. But now, because of this, because of the tech up timings, right, you might be able to burn this down before Slam even gets a Hulk out. Because he doesn't actually have the wood. And you must know this because you saw the Spearman, which means that economically, like, this doesn't seem feasible for him to get more, to get enough wood together to get a Hulk out quick enough to snipe out these horsemen. It does mean, however, that now with Royal Knights coming out, you probably can't even finish this structure off, because 4 horsemen isn't going to be good enough. He will get them out of dodge, but he will not be able to stop the dock from starting to produce on water. It looks like the horsemen tripping over each other a little bit. You also can't dive into TC's influence with these horsemen. They get sniped out very quickly by the TCs. They don't do enough damage to really kill off. Remember, it's 7 damage per hit, and they'll trip over each other trying to get on top of the same villager. So instead, this is just alleviating any pressure. This is giving DauT the opportunity to now start to boom on water, as he has 2 docks up already, and he's starting to produce the archer ships. You're probably going to need 4. I want to say 4 archer ships to feel kind of safe about it, up against the Hulk to maybe counter each Hulk that comes out. In terms of like eco cost, remember it's 120 wood and 90 gold. So you're actually getting like 2.5 ships for the same cost of a Hulk. So it's actually, if you're talking direct economical trades, France is favored with their 300 wood, 240 gold cost Hulks. These horsemen, by the way. He keeps trying to snipe out the Royal Knight. Remember, chivalry is kind of iffy when you're playing against Mongols, because in the meantime with the early Knights it's not valuable because the Khan is just keeping pressure on the Knight. And then when you get up to a point where you've got maybe 4 or 5 Knights, chivalry still doesn't feel good, because that's when DauT probably starts to build Magadai. Magadai that are going to count these spearmen, by the way, and will also be able to deal with the Knights. And now the archer ships! Not enough damage to get rid of this Knight, but almost. Really good by Slam to quick react to that, because that could have backfired quickly. Losing 140 gold, 100 food unit like that would not have felt good at this stage of the game. So Scout will be sniped out. Now the question is, do you just try and rush back towards Slam's eco here? Because I don't think Slam is going to go for yours. It's just 2 Knights, one of them heavily injured already. We'll make it 3 Knights, but still. Meanwhile, Hulk's now engaging on the archer ship. And look at that. Look how quickly they just disintegrate here. You're doing practically no damage. So it's going to be 4 archer ships versus 1 Hulk. This might be good enough, but it's going to cost you units. He needs to try and stay on the right sides of this so he doesn't get battered down. That's 5 now. Heavy injuries on him. But the fishing ships are healing them up. I don't know why this is a thing, by the way. I really don't know why this is a thing. But that being said, I mean, DauT can do the same thing. And then I think you can just go off the fishing ships in that situation. So he's going to move into dock range. Remember, docks do heal you up. Fishing ships are about to be exposed, so he needs to be careful. DauT now has home field advantage, but he needs to not lose these fishing ships like this. And has he noticed yet? Yeah, he's going to move in now. Starts to snipe at them. He needs to get past them towards the fishing line. Instead, the fishing ships are just in full retreat. They're going to try and focus on healing up the Hulk, and they're doing a good job of it. So this will expose the fishing ships. It might actually cost him an archer ship or two, but he will get all these fishing ships, and that's going to force the Hulk into retreat. And the Hulks, I'm pretty sure they're slower, 1.12 compared to the 1.62, but it's double Hulk now. So you will have to turn around as DauT here. Only 5 archer ships at this point. He actually needs to full repair them. The problem right now is the second dock is back up for Slam, so he should be able to, with the appropriate eco, match and exceed the military influence on the water that DauT has. And meanwhile, a few more horsemen were built, but there's just too many knights here. Now, the interesting part is that right now, DauT is able to invest all of his gold onto the water, but Slam is being forced to just split his gold income, right? He's building knights, but he's also having to build hulks. So you're actually kind of uncomfortable. I love this move from DauT to just utilize his food, knowing that that is the resource that he doesn't need for water, right? Like, that's the resource that he's getting from water, but it's also the resource that he doesn't need to produce his water-based units. So if he continues like this, he should be able to reach a critical mass of archer ships and overwhelm Slam. The important part is to just keep forcing Slam to produce knights. I don't know how many he's going to keep producing, though, because I feel like you need 3, maybe 4 times the number of knights to horsemen to actually like win with horsemen, right? So from that perspective, Slam shouldn't be forced to invest too many more into knights. But I think in Slam's eyes, if he can get that critical mass of knights, not only can he repel the horsemen, but then he can push into the base. The kind of double-edged dagger he needs to be watching out for here, though, is if DauT decides to, off the back of this, quickly switch into Magadai, then these knights completely just become wasted. And even though it takes a while, they will die. But here comes the archer ships. 3 Hulks up against 11 archer ships. The focus fire comes in. 1 Hulk down to half HP. He's focusing on the fisher ships now. 4th Hulk has just came out. It is getting in range. And now they will prioritize fire onto this Hulk ship, but they still haven't dealt with the fishing ships yet. This Hulk ship's getting low. 1 more salvo will do it. They do get rid of it. They're looking to back up now. So move his archer ships away. A lot of them are heavily damaged. He doesn't lose too many in the end. He lost 3 to get 1 Hulk ship. That's actually not a bad trade, not to mention sniping a fishing ship. And more archer ships are coming out. Meanwhile, the land battle continues, and the knights are starting to get overwhelmed by the number of horsemen here. They're going to try and pincer. They will lose 2 of these horsemen. Nicely done there by Slam to get around the back with that 1 spearman. But chivalry has still not been researched, remember, so any damage done to these horsemen is permanent. These knights, rather. So the horsemen, yeah, they're getting injured, but any damage being done to the knights is perma as well. And remember, every time you have to run away, the Khan is slowly whittling you down. It's only 4 range damage, 3 of which is just being kind of, negated. But overall, it just does slowly but surely whittle down your knights and force you to keep reinforcing the line. Quad Hulk incoming. Okay, how many archer ships you got? It's only 10. This won't be enough, by the way. The fishing ships won't be able to repay you because they'll easily be salvoed out by 2 hits from a Hulk. So in again. One will come out from DauT. He's being attacked. And he's not paying attention to the sec. He's going to lose 1 of these archer ships for free. No damage on the Hulk. He'll finally prioritize it now as he chases them in. He needs to focus fire, if anything. And Slam just trying for the quick switch rounds to get quicker fire out. And it looks like DauT is going to be forced to back away here. Not enough archer ships right now. He might actually lose the full naval force. He needs to just skirt around them. Remember, these archer ships are quicker, but now your whole naval expedition is just exposed. You won't be able to get archer ships out quick enough with 2 here. You might be able to snipe his back line and take out whatever eco he has back in his base. And that might be the one play. The other play is playing close to the shoreline so that you can actually utilize these archer ships in any melee battle on land. And it looks like Slam knows exactly where he's going. He's now got 5 Hulks up, and he's looking to pincer him. But look, the knights, they're exposed. He's losing them as well. 2 down, 1 injured. He did research chivalry now, so that's even more costly to lose knights like that, as you've delayed your production of knights. And DauT will look to move in with the horsemen. But now his archer ship should get just spiked down and sniped off quickly here, as they are somewhat cornered. They'll move up the shore. Remember, they are quicker, so they can get out of range. But these archer ships, they're not moving. And the Hulks are going to focus fire them. Remember, Hulks have additional range over the archer ships. The question is, does DauT care? He's teched up, so now he can start producing heavier units if he wants. He can go into the war junks. And he's already got 1 being produced. Now he can look to do some eco damage as well. He's going to keep chasing. And remember, these archer ships, yes, they're weak against the Hulks, but they can snipe out the remaining fishing ships and get rid of all the supplies that Slam is generating off of the water here. Meanwhile, more houses being produced in mass. Cavalry will protect against the horseman harass that DauT has, but now he has this kind of backline pressure. You're always going to be keeping an eye at your own base as Slam. He didn't want to let DauT get in like this. This was the kind of thing he was trying to avoid, because with the additional speed buff that you can get, the Horsemen should be able to stay ahead of the Knights. Although if they get pinched like this, they won't. Gonna lose a few more. I don't know why they were throwing Molotovs at Horsemen there. That's a little bit confusing, but we'll look to back away, just wasting their time further. Meanwhile, the Archer ships in retreat, once again being pursued by the Hulks, and the Hulk mass is reaching critical mass here, up to 7 now. Only 1 war junk out. These war junks, by the way, should trade better in equal numbers because they do 120 damage compared to 100, and they have 100 less health. The problem you're going to run into here is you just don't have enough war junks. So that's up to 3 now. But he has got home field advantage. Remember, he'll have the docks to repair, so he'll be able to take 1 or 2 extra salvos. He needs to have the Archer ships maybe tanking a few shots here. He's backing up completely, just trying to stay out of range. As he'll start to take the hits. Now he can focus fire onto the Hulks. Can he get through them? He should be able to burn 2 of these here. He's already lost 1 of his own war junks. Focus fire the Hulk. 14 health! It's still alive! He'll finally get rid of it. That's 1 down, but he keeps the other one to the back, so Slam won't lose the second Hulk just yet. But remember, he's starting to produce here. And he's going for the demo ships. He can't reach, though. It's just too many Hulks. Remember, demo ships have next to no health, 200 health, and you have to get next to one of these ships, which 3 of them can instantly kill you. Demo ship in. Chasing is too close. The boom! Good damage done. Gets rid of 1, but loses his final war junk. Archer ship trying to clean up the last Hulk, but it's not good enough. There's so little damage. Now 4 Hulk ships just sitting here. Demo ships being produced. And he's getting ultra close here. So, I mean, the explosive junks. He's waypointed them wrong is the only issue here. And he's going to turn the waypoint. They come out right in front. Boom. A lot of damage done. Another explosive being produced. The problem is back in base, more of these ships should be being produced right now. You've already got 1 Hulk out. I don't know if he's going to invest in more. DauT might just stop at that moment. Explosive junk in. Sinks 2 more of them here. But he's about to lose 1 of his docks before it can produce a new unit. This might actually be enough to force Slam away after he gets 1 dock, though. Meanwhile, on land, the engagement has begun with Lancers because this is what DauT has been building towards. Remember, Slam, while he has the advantage on water at the moment, he still has yet to tech up, right? So at this point, he's behind in these land skirmishes. That being said, 1 or 2 Spearmen will scare DauT away for the moment. And has there been a TC expansion yet? It looks like there hasn't. At least on one side. Has there been on the other? It looks like both sides are still on 1 TC, but DauT will boom. Look at his current resources. His gold is ridiculous at this stage because he did go for the step readout, which means that every drop-off of gold is boosted by 50%. And he is getting plenty of that. Income per minute over 1,000. He's got double the income of the French player in this game as Slam has fallen behind on the eco. War junk. Now fighting up. Now, this is where I think Slam backs off, because this is where he could easily lose 2 ships before he even finishes 1 war junk if he's not careful. DauT keeps trying to get in range. He's just being skirted, though. Not quite fast enough. 1.15 to 1.29. Another kind of crazy part about Hulks, while the arrow ships are quicker, these war junks are slower. It's kind of baffling, really. And this war junk might sink, because now that you're outnumbered, this is what happens. Look, you'll be turned on and chased down. And you can't run away anymore. They'll always be in range to attack you. It's kind of ridiculous. So DauT will definitely lose the war junk. And with this renewal of Hulks, there should be more pressure coming on the Navy. Because remember, it's still only 1 dock. DauT hasn't built into more. He has got the second TC, but this is a bit risky. He built the TC right next to the shoreline. Remember, one good thing you do have as a Mongol player, though, is if you do come under attack at this TC, you can reposition it. So that shouldn't be the be-all, end-all if it does come under fire from Hulks, but it will be a little bit frustrating and an interruption to your villager production. Meanwhile, in the land battle, DauT takes the advantage. Slam has lost all of his knights. Freelance is still alive. This is where you can maybe press in, but the stone walls are down from Slam. And that is any opportunity to push in here, shut out. And this is something that kind of, I'd be curious to see what people's thoughts are. I'm kind of the opinion that maybe we should be moving stone walls to Castle Age. It's literally in the title. Yes, I know the feudal times there probably was some stone walls, but it feels like it's just so easy to just stone wall up, especially in these type of maps, and it completely shuts out the pressure that comes out, right? If you want to tech boom and get up to 3, then you deserve these walls. But getting them at 2 is kind of ridiculous. And this is going to be really frustrating for DauT now. So DauT, in his mind, he might just look to eco boom further. Slam has finally joined him in the 3rd age. I think right now you could maybe think about trip TC because you're not being pressured on water anymore. You are building something of an army, but because there's been no investment in further docks, I don't know if DauT is necessarily interested. in ruling the seas. The alternative is he just moves forward and essentially builds a third TC and then booms ridiculously into Tech 4, at which point his elite Lancers can just plow through the Royal Knights. Question is, what did Slam go for, actually? Yeah, okay, he did go Guildhall. I'm glad. I think Guildhall is better in this type of game. Get the Treacle is good. Now that you do have an advantage on the water, by the way, which Slam's going to identify with 9 holds. What? Damn, he did not quit. Yeah, DauT made the right choice to quit on the water. He stopped at this pathetically small army. If he gets an explosive junk in, he might actually get a good trade here, eco-wise, but he's not even moving the junk. I think the explosive junk would be spotted moving out anyway. Dock's about to fall. That's gone, so no repair coming out. And that's more junk sniped. Demo ship gone. Final more junk down, and that should end DauT's story on the water. A single fishing boat is all that remains of his legacy. And this is where Slam can now opt to go into trade chips, and I would love to see it, actually. Like, if he just starts trade chip spamming, his gold influx is going to catch up to DauT pretty quick. Because remember, DauT is always going to have the advantage if you try and match him on land right now due to the step redoubt. Go will look to move away. You can't see him because the trees are still blocking view. I think you can hit... Can you hit the TC from here? Maybe. Yeah, you get a few hits. But remember, the TC does decent damage. You see it 25 per hit, and it fires quite regularly. It's not worth it. Scouting Tower's going down, though. And they're already losing villages. Oh, the snipe out. He hasn't garrisoned them yet. Okay, they're going to garrison now. I don't know what the play was with these outposts, though. Like, the TC's not bad, right? Like, you can see the damage that's actually being done to one of these hulks right now. But the outpost spam, is it worth it in this situation? It's not doing too bad. I like one outpost. I guess it's more about the vision, right? Because the TC might not have the vision. That being said, he does get rid of 2 of these hulks. Is there going to be a reinforced further? I think this is where you cut on the hulks and you go full on the eco on water. Because now you control the seas. Yeah, Slam's doing it. All 3 of these are producing fishing boats. He's basically turtled up to now try and boom. But remember, like we said, DauT should be able to beat him to Tech 4. His gold income is just ridiculous. His food is almost there as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a quick tech up into 4. I think with Imp Age advantage, that's when we should see this get really scary for Slam. And you can already see Slam, he's getting more defensive. So he's building the keeps behind his walls. So he understands that he's kind of in this for the long haul, and he needs to now catch up. So if he does start producing these trade ships after the fishing ship route comes out, then he can basically boom into heavy elite units such as Knights and probably Arbors as well. And I think if you have a critical mass of Arbors, the Lancer army just gets melted. And keep in mind, like 9 times out of 10, that's actually what Mongol players aim for with this kind of quick tech timing, is they want to get their elite Lancers, which are, you know, their Knight equivalent. Hulk fleet is good. Oh, new dog's going down for DauT. This is an interesting spot as well. Slam isn't really patrolling the sea anymore. So this, like, this is actually big brain from DauT. Slam's mind, right, is if he doesn't ever see ships being produced from this area, they can't be being produced. So you wouldn't ever look here. There's no real reason to look here other than if you force a land engagement. Because DauT has scouted out that these walls are down and he can't get in the base, it's unlikely that Slam's going to come out to meet him for an engagement in the middle, right? So this means that there's no info being gathered for Slam in the central area of the map, and that is easily utilized by DauT, as he can now get back on the water here. Not to mention, he has already teched up. So we talked about this. He went for the quick tech timing. Which building did he grab? I didn't quite see it. Cognate Palace. Okay. So this is the one that gives you 3 units every 90 seconds. I think it's 5. Does it produce 5? I think it's 5 of whatever you choose. I might be wrong on that, though. He's going for Horsemen at the moment, as opposed to Magadire Lancers, which is quite peculiar. Can't be 5, right? 5 feels like too much, although it is a military landmark at Tech 4. So yeah, this will allow him to continue to just boom eco-wise. Like, he can tech up now. He can afford all his techs while he's still building an army. The difference is, like, obviously the investments that are required for Slam. Don't forget, though, because he now has a keep up, there's an influence area, and this influence area, the way it works is all the archery ranges and stables in range produce units at 25% less cost, which is quite the savings when you consider that Knights are 140 food, 100 gold. And not to mention archers, which, you know, they're quite pricey too. But there's the Imp tech up, a little bit behind DauT's, but remember, water control. Slam he felt that this was getting a little bit suspicious. And obviously, if you got Hulk army, you should be using it. So the Hulks come out and they smash. Any attempt to get back on water is going to be thwarted again by Slam, as DauT did not build up a military presence here. Only a single pathetic explosive junk. But he is building a full base. This can't be underrated. He's getting the 4 stables. He needs to get a siege workshop, which is there, and he's building the bombard cannons now. Here we go. Problem he does have is because that imp timing wasn't that much later by Slam. Slam will be able to counter him out with cannons, with Republicans for the armies and these choke points, which is what's going to happen when they try and siege into the walls. This is where it matters, by the way, what tech up building he took. He took the artillery. Okay, this is a big deal then. That's what I was looking for. So he can get the culverins. Remember, the culverins are a counter to siege units, which means that these bombard cannons are going to melt quickly. Really big deal. Siege will begin, though. Mangonel was already built for Slam. Understanding that he has stone walls, he's going to force his opponent into a choke point. Hulk ships are patrolling, looking for reinforcements. Because DauT has moved his military operation to the fort base here, they shouldn't be exposed to the shoreline anymore. He's going to lose full outpost vision, nonetheless, though. I would love to see DauT build a forward outpost here, just so you have the movement speed buff on your siege units as well as your army. It can make the difference in these engagements. We didn't talk about what he done on the tech too, by the way, mainly because it's almost always obvious. You do this, the marketplace that allows you to do the caravans. How many caravans has he got now? He must be on a sizable clump. I reckon he's up to 10 plus at this stage. You just spam produce caravans because they're 50% cheaper and they produce 50% faster out this building. And there you go. He's getting stone commerce. So he's now going to get stone for free alongside the gold. This is going to be a huge boon. Meanwhile, when we look on the water, Slam, income per minute, this has to be like half now. Okay, no, okay. Credit to Slam for keeping up. I'm surprised he's keeping... there it is. I'm about to say, 33 workers on gold must be the answer. But remember, this is going to run out soon. The gold vein's getting low. Meanwhile, siege successful. DauT did get in the base. He will retreat as he sees how much is here. But the thing I want to highlight is because he's still not producing trade ships, he's going to fall behind in the gold intake. He's not fully utilizing the fact that he has an advantage on sea to get these trade routes up, which will pay for themselves within a matter of minutes, right? So while Slam's income is at least equal at the moment, DauT's is persistent. DauT's will not run out, and it is not reliant on a gold vein. A gold vein which is going to dry up in just 1,000 gold. And then the next near one is outside of your walls, right? Where you're already in contested territories. DauT has already moved an army there. Oh, cannon. Culverin sniping. Nice, good hit. The bombard might fall. Second hit can't come out. I never see people repair their artillery, but he might want to do it here. He's spamming out the Lancers. Now remember, he can get plenty out here because he'll be able to stockpile stone now that he's getting it on these trade routes. Because remember, he got the research that allows him to get stone as well as gold, the stone commerce here. So these newer traders are going to bring back 17 stone as well as 200 gold, or 194 to be specific. One bombard cannon was lost there. No damage done to the Culverin, so value out the Culverin already being achieved. Elite Royal Knights are ready to rock. There's a lot of them as well, 24 here. How many Lancers are we talking about? We're up to 19, so just a little bit behind. In terms of stable production, remember we said that this costs less for the French player now, but because of this gold advantage that's going to become obvious in the next few minutes, I will give the advantage to DauT as these military productions continue. Interesting that there hasn't been a Mangonel coming out for DauT yet, just because you're in these choke points. I think it's kind of fair to say that in a cavalry-on-cavalry engagement, though, in choke points, bombard cannons are kind of better. The reason being that if you see a Mangonel firing at you, if there's multiple Mangonels, you just quickly back off and then go back in, right? So you dodge the shots quite easily. Bombard cannons, however, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to dodge a cannon shot at you. They move a little bit quicker than a catapult. Sure. You know, rocks flying through the air in arc tends to be less effective at hitting fast targets than cannonball fired straight at face. You're welcome for the insights. So Mangonel doing some damage to the Lancers. They're fully backing up the Royal Knights. The Lancers now have the advantage. The bombard cannons can snipe these out as well. And there it is. He even tanks them up with the Khans, so the defense arrow giving it extra armor to all the units. Means they now have the advantage. The Knights, they need to fall back behind the wall again. He even stops the army trying to flank around the sides. They couldn't get these bombard cannons, and they're cut off. So that's going to be 6 more Knights that cannot escape, forced to fight here. Double Royal Culverin need to back up because they could easily lose this choke point quickly at this rate, because there are Magadai now included in this assault. Means the advantage now goes to DauT because there are no range units for Slam. It means that he's not actually able to get more units involved in this saturated fight. Now they push in. A lot of injured Lancers here due to those Mangonel shots that came out earlier. But the Royal Knights, there's not many of them left. Bombard cannons have not moved forward, so he doesn't want to expose them to the Culverin fire. They are producing more Knights, and the Knights are closer than the Lancers coming in, but the Magadai will start to make the difference here in these choke points when they retreat. Bombards are in, aiming at the Culverins. Does lose one of them, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. Still 2 Bombards to the 1 Culverin, though. Magadai get caught. There's enough Knights here to repel, but the Lancers keep the choke point alive as he's trying to snipe out the Culverin. There will be a Bombard left alive, but the Culverins are now gone. And they break more walls. This is so big for his Slam! He gets the wraparound straight in onto the Bombard. There are not enough Lancers here. Slam destroying his own wall to expand the line, knowing he has Knight advantage. And now he should be able to clean up the Lancers. More Lancers are coming out, but he stopped off these Magadai, which means now DauT is at a disadvantage. Amazing instant change of strategy from Slam, identifying with the ranged units in here, he needed a wider area to fight in, and he gets it. Khan now down, so no more buffs coming out from him. Too many Knights here. New keep produced as well. Means any additional stables and archery range is also going to get reduced costs. He hasn't opted for archers at all, though. He's still not doing it. He's also still not trading on water at all. He's full in on this land. Remember, we talked about Slam is going to run out of resources quick. Look at the income per minute. This is why he pushes out. So now he's got a new gold mine. He can actually try to keep up with this because DauT is getting 3.5k gold a minute, and he was down to under 1,000. So this will allow him to catch up. He'll probably be up to almost 2,000. Probably higher, actually. That's 22 workers. We'll see on the drop-off. And he has enough of these Knights to repel the enemy forces away. As DauT is trying to snipe out the cannon. Remember, Culverins move very slowly, so they're taking ages to arrive. Lancers are going to chase them away. Magadai doing their work as well. The Lancer line does spread out, but that means they're in range of the Hawks. Trying to wrap round, and the keep, the fast keep, is going to be quick enough to push him out here. DauT is going to be full on the retreat after this because he doesn't have the numbers in the main fight, and now with the keep down as well, he's outnumbered. This means the gold expansion is going to be actually protected by Slam, and he needs to get back to grabbing that gold because he was starting to get low on the resources. But this will push him back. There are so many stables here. DauT needs to get a new army. He's relocating them to a new location. I don't know if there's going to be enough Lancers quick enough here, though. The Knights are coming out at an equal pace, and remember, they cost less. And there's only so much stone that DauT has to invest in this double production. And we're also starting to get closer to the ship line as well. You don't want to be at that point. Knights pushing out, DauT being repelled. You cannot allow Slam out from this location, by the way. There is so much invested in this caravan line. If you expose it, it's pretty much GG. Knights continue to push through. And they're just trickling in and dying one by one. DauT is trying to find a new location to relocate all of these Lancers too, but he's never finding it. Magadai chasing in next to the ships are just going to get ripped apart. Every single building that DauT has is trying to produce. And look at it, he has to make a new line. He says barracks. I need barracks right now. I actually need something that counters and trades better with these Knights. I don't think he teched them up, though. So these spearmen that are going to be coming out aren't going to actually be teched up. They're not going to be as strong as they can be. New Lancers trying to produce. Those villages are exposed. And another gold mine is going to be accessed by Slam. DauT has to stop this quick. He can't allow this for free. He'll charge in now. He can get a lot of villages here because it looks like Slam is focusing on his chase deeper into the base as he's got 2 contingents of Knights chasing into DauT's eco lines. Not fighting many villages just at the moment. And now we'll continue this ult. Should be able to, Emma. That's your response. Chase in. Burning structures. He can't get enough of Spearman out just yet. Remember, these still haven't been teched up. He needs one of these teching up. And he needs to tech up twice because they aren't even veteran Spearmen yet. It's only hardened Spearmen. Meanwhile, the eco line's still being chased by Slam. I love this. The fold, the understanding of what his opponent is doing and how exposed he's going to be because he must be relying on caravan trade. He knows this when he moves forward and sees that these gold veins were not even being mined by DauT. And he hasn't even reached this caravan yet, but he's going to now. He moves past the spearmen straight into the caravan line. And if he snipes out just a few of these, there's a huge gold influx just completely burnt that won't be going to DauT. Meanwhile, Hulks, they spot more dock expansions. Dock expansions that will not get a chance to function. And look at the Knights! They find them! This is so painful as well, because the spearmen unable to get in position quick enough. He's going to lose so many of these caravans. All the while, new military force to deal with the measly veteran horsemen that are being produced by DauT because he needed someone that was cheap to chase onto the villagers. And this won't be enough to hold his full military base either because now they can focus with these knights here. It's all just falling apart for DauT. Knights will finally be surrounded as the Lancers were forced to evacuate the front line to try and deal with the eco damage that's being done. Just look at the numbers. DauT, now income per minute, has lost over 1,000 on what he had. Means Slam is catching up. The Khan is dead again, so no buffs coming out there. And yes, well done. You've repelled him now at the marketplace location. But the problem with longer caravan routes is you can't protect the whole way easily. And this is the moment where if he wants, Slam could just move a few knights past this and snipe a dozen or so caravans before there's a reaction. Not to mention, DauT still has to deal with what Slam's doing on the water. If he keeps producing Hulks, which, I mean, he might, then he can easily just take out this TC. In fact, this might be enough. Is this enough? No, I think the Hulks are going to lose out just about. This does mean he's surrendering his entire naval force, and that does mean DauT could have an opportunity to come back in the war. But DauT is so occupied with what's happening on land that I don't think that's an option right now. Charge in. Spearmen are outnumbered, so they actually can't trade well against the Knights right now. They need to retreat. They'll back away again. And the Sacred Site is being decapped. Ford Keeper as well. This might be a situation where you just build a priest and send him across the island to cap. Because remember, you're keeping DauT off the war right now. You could force a Sacred Site victory. Culverin will be taken down, but the Knights surround the Lancer force and the Spearmen, and it looks like DauT's army is going to be burnt here. He needs to produce a new one. And I don't think he has it right now. Yeah, he's got resource burnout. He doesn't have enough food coming in. His food is way too low to actually reproduce an army quick enough now. He's trying to get the Spearmen spam out, but there's just so many Knights. Look at this. Look how many this is. 31? These Knights are going to plow through. Yeah, they're going straight for the caravan line. They'll clean up the Spearmen. This is the thing. DauT has to engage here. He can't afford to lose the caravan line. But once you lose the main line, you might just lose everything. So many caravans that are going to die. In fact, Slam doesn't even care about this. He pushes in to try and just eke out a military production advantage instead by trying to burn through the racks and get rid of any civvies around here. Charge in. Sees the caravans again. He's going for them. There it is. This should be the attack click moment. Boom. Surrounds them. Chops them down. These caravans are way too slow to move away. Meanwhile, new army will start to be produced. Remember, these keeps reducing the price of the stables again. Not to mention the keep influence. Just not only reducing the prices, but ensuring there's no counter-assault coming in. Look, Lancers trickling out one by one, but the keeps will just snipe them out. So maybe you lose a villager here or there, but you just don't care. You keep prioritizing the eco damage because it's easily outdoing whatever DauT is attempting. Slam now having surplus of 6,000 gold. DauT down at 1,000 mark and unlikely to improve from there with the amount of caravans just being sniped. A new Knight line. They're going to find the rest of them. A few Lancers here to protect, but it's not going to be good enough. The Lancers are outnumbered. The caravans are harmless, unarmed, unable to defend themselves. DauT on the ropes. What is his next move in this situation? Because you can just see the territorial gains over time as Slam continues to trickle further and further across the map, reinforcing his armies as he goes. Spearman to try and counter the Knights. He's going to split them up. 4 or 5 Knights is enough to just kill off each of these caravans one by one. And the Spearman cannot defend them quick enough, so he's going to lose 4 more of these caravans, carrying a hefty sum of gold. That's 800 gold just burned. You could actually just lose 6, 7, 8 Knights, and it equals out what he just lost in caravan trade. And he will lose the Knights eventually, but look, more Knights coming in, just chasing down these caravans. He's down to about 6 caravans, if that. DauT now needs to look elsewhere for his supplies. He has still got this hefty gold vein that isn't looking so hefty anymore. It's down to 800 left before it's just burnt out. And the step redoubt has a long way to relocate. Not that there's going to be much less gold left. Because look how quickly he burnt through these. Slam has so many people working gold, there's barely anything left to get here. There is 1 gold vein untapped, and it's a baby one. Just 3.8k gold on that one. And after that, there's just no gold left. The only way you can get it through is through trade, which would have been an advantage for DauT if he could have protected the caravan line, but it's just unable to do so. Meanwhile, on the Knights, they bait out the Lance, they'll turn around on them, and he has to back them up to the Spearmen, otherwise they'll engage with the remaining caravans. Meanwhile, new Knight force pushing in. I don't know what DauT's answer is to this. He's still just producing some crappy Spearmen, right? That's kind of all he can do. Has he really got that much in the way of food production? I feel like he hasn't. His I mean, he's keeping up with Slam, but that's literally it. Plenty of people working back here. So this line is at least not exposed. So that's the good news for DauT. And keep in mind, because the gold is being burnt and there's not much left, this is where if DauT forces a stalemate for 2-3 minutes, as hard as it may be, considering your opponent has a surplus of 60k gold, then you can take advantage because, remember, DauT was the only one to utilize Caravan. Slam actually never made trade chips, so he's never been getting that unlimited gold source. And DauT now moving forward with the Monk. This is actually really cool. He can wall the Spearman if there's a spear clump, right? Because you can't reach him, because you won't be able to get around all these knights quick enough. And moves in, cuts off the Caravans. There's the Spearman, the Wallalow coming in. DauT, he can't get out quick enough. He's going to lose some troops, I think. No! He'll get him out. He loses one of men-at-arms, that's going to be it. It looked like he might have got more there because they started pushing the priest towards the spear. Keep in mind that's something you can do when you've got mass clump infantry or cavalry, by the way. Even though the priest can't move when he's wall-lolling, if you actually push against him, he'll start moving towards your opponent. It's tricky to pull off, and it'll be cool to see people do that as the meta develops, but this is the cool thing. This threat is always going to be looming against DauT because he doesn't have ranged units. He doesn't have archers to snipe out the priest, and in these choke points, the knights can hold him in. Culverins to snipe out. The Knight Treacle just never stops, man. He's just relentless. Taking out the Lancers. He's just baiting them in as well. He's forcing auto aggro, right? So they come away from the Spearman line, and then the Spearman can never be close enough to repel or react. Meanwhile, Caravan's being sniped out. They actually, this is the thing. Even if it's just a stalemate, you don't have to chase DauT in. You just have to cut off the supply route here. He can't get Caravans through anymore. He's just completely cut off. He's choked off. And this is so frustrating and so good. Meanwhile, Slam. Not even thinking about 5-6 minutes from now what his eco is going to look like. Because he has the military advantage now, he just doesn't want to allow an eco treacle for DauT. Spears and Lancers. Engagement. Wrapping on him. Spearmen move in. Good stabs coming out. That's going to get several of the knights here as they're trying to retreat. And he's blocking him with the cavalry. Yes, he'll sacrifice the cav, but that forces the knight engagement. Now the spear's getting on top of him, and the Zerg factor coming in. DauT is pushing through Slam's lines here. Will force the knights back. Did lose all of his lancers, mind you. And remember, DauT, he's the one budgeted on gold. Slam can keep producing like this. He does need to get his food supplies up to keep the knights coming out, which is keeping up with DauT's food supplies. Re-engagement again. He cycle charges them in to try and get that bonus damage, but the spears, they don't care. They're pushing into this. They're going to force them back again. Knights just trying to use their chivalry to their advantage to keep healing up. Remember, they're tanky. 364 health is a big ask for a spearman here. And the Wallalow is going to force him to retreat. And because that retreat is going to be chased down by the knights. Maybe he turns around now. Reinforcement of spear coming in. If he pinces here, he can trap in Slam's knights and get rid of the primary force. Caravan's renewing, trying to get a few more out, but not many. And knights are chasing down those few. Spearman line is holding. Knights are being burnt through. He needs to reinforce them quicker than this. That being said, there's not enough spear. He's got so many that just aren't here yet. Look at this production. 36 spearmen. He's going to have to reinforce the secondary line. They just can't get in quick enough. They're just trickling in, being burst one by one. The Khan is now here. He can give them the defense with the defense arrow. And instead, he actually uses the attack speed. What? Now, folks, attack speed doesn't work for the melee. I don't know if DauT realized this or if he misclicked. The attack speed only works for range, so this will not affect the Spearman at all. The Spearman still trading well nonetheless, getting rid of several of these knights, but remember, although they're more cost-effective, you need to reach that critical mass, and if you keep clumping them in one by one, they might get picked because there's more knights incoming. And that's the critical mass. He's reached it. Knights have to retreat. There's not enough of them left. 16 versus probably about 30 of these spearmen. If you can get a Revoltic or two, this would be good. But remember, supplies are starting to burn up. Slam, he still has surplus of 3.5k gold. But if we look at the income per minute, this should tick down soon. Where's the final gold vein? Is this just from the relics? This actually might just be from relics that he gathered. Because he's not gathering, he's not trading, he's not getting gold elsewhere. But damn, I mean, Slam keeping up over 1,000 gold at this point is impressive. I don't know how long it can hold out, though. There it is. It's starting to cut down. Under 1,000 now. He's starting to feel the pain. His eco is starting to burn up. And remember, the counter to this gold surplus, all these knights, which cost so much gold, is spearmen, which only cost food and wood. A much easier resource to find when you consider how many wood lines are left and how much food is available with all of these different pastures producing goats regularly. So it continues. I don't think I'm pretty sure Slam never actually teched in to his other infantry either. So even if he switched over to infantry production to try and match this, his will be weaker in these initial fights. That being said, the Knights continue to trickle out, and there are enough of them now overwhelm the Spearmen again. It looks like he got trapped out by the Roboticans. The Roboticans did make the difference. They boom tube down the army that DauT had. And is there enough Spearmen left? He needs to reform a line, and he needs to do it quickly. His Khan almost dead. Can't afford to lose him at critical points. Then again, it's 80 seconds until he gets his ability. But if he does lose the Khan, it'll be 2 minutes without him, so he wouldn't be able to buff in the next fight. And the Knights trying to bait him in. Remember, these Roboticans will wreck through your line. They'll just rip them apart quickly. The Roboticans doing 42 damage to each of these, so that's over half the health of the Spearmen in a salvo from 2 of these. So he keeps backing up. Shaman's coming out as well. I think this was for his Khan, but he's on the wrong side of it, so he needs to send him through to heal. Not getting a chance right now. More Knights being massed. Remember this, by the way, if you can actually find a gold influx, DauT does have all these stables still. It's just like, where are you going to get the gold from? He's trying to renew the caravan lines, but the problem with where he keeps amassing spears is like there's these 2 folds, right? One of them's going to be exposed. He can't afford to let his melee zone get exposed, which means he keeps sacrificing the caravan line. Moving in. Fight gets forced. Plump Spearmen in. Roboticans get the shots off. And they fire quite fast. The Lancers try and flank around, but there's not enough Lancers here to get rid of the Robotican. So the Robotican will live. And I think there's another one coming out. Is that free now? No, it's the second number one to replace the last one. Spearman dying way too fast here. He needs to get on the Roboticans. There's a few there with the Spearman now hitting into it. Trying to get rid of the Siege Toys. But I think they're dying too fast. No, they don't get it. Final hit. Robotican goes down. There's still one to work with. And now the Knights are outnumbering the Spearmen again. DauT has plenty of food and wood. If anything, he needs to produce even more barracks just to keep up this rate, because he's being outnumbered once again. But the Knights are almost gone. Remember, Slam, he's got no gold income right now. He's down to his last, so DauT might be able to burn him out at this rate. And with so few Knights left, and with no switch over to Spearmen and man-at-arms, I think this is the moment where DauT might start to take the lead. A few of these Knights are still left alive. There are still 2 Roboticans. But remember, the Spearman clump will continue as DauT. Although his food is somewhat limited right now, unlimited food. Goats forever. And wood supplies, there's still plenty of trees left around here. The whole chunk down here he hasn't even started cutting into yet. And with, how many people is it right now? 24 on wood. It's enough to, yeah, that's actually enough to keep you up on Spearman alone. Meanwhile, yeah, you got this food and this wood income for Slam, but it's just not being used anyway. And he needs to find somewhere to build plenty of these. Remember, even if he switches into the Spearman, into the man-at-arms now, man-at-arms is still a little bit pricey. And more importantly, the reduction in costs for the keeps, it only applies to archery ranges and stables, so he won't get value there. Slam changes his priority, tries to get rid of these flanking builds in case there is any threat coming out, because there was a few Lancers being built. But this is kind of his last big clump of Knights. If you can get through this as DauT, you can actually just GG this game. This has to be something that Slam is aware of, and I'm kind of surprised he still hasn't switched up the strategy. I genuinely think archery ranges are the way to go here. If you get some archery ranges out, you switch over, you can just counter with basic archers. You get rid of all these Spearmen so quickly. The Roboticans are good, yes, but the Spearman clump is infinite. And if you switch to archers, your archer clump is basically infinite as well. Because you have got farm production over here. You have got wood lines that you can move up to, right? I say that. I think that is actually the limitation. Look how little wood... Yeah, this is probably why Slam is getting scared now. Even if he switched across, there's so little wood left on the map. And this once again comes back to switching to trade chips. If he switched trade chips, his gold problem is solved. Not only his gold problem, but remember, they trickle wood as well. So he'd be able to keep up with this. But DauT's economy is just vastly superior at this stage, and you can even see it in the numbers. Over 1,000 food extra coming in, 1,000 gold compared to Slam's 0 gold, and the wood is even ahead as well. The only thing that you've got more of as Slam is stone. So good luck building more walls to hide behind. But I think considering DauT has got infinite gold supply, he'll be able to build the bombard cannons to get through it. And Slam continuing to assault in. There's a few Lancers here. That does spook him for a second. I don't think DauT really wants this engagement. The cool thing is it's actually delaying, so more caravans are getting through. So he's rebuilding that gold supply again. And this does allow him to spam Lancers. This is the thing. Now he can actually reach a critical mass where he could easily match up against Slam. The only limitation is DauT, he doesn't have any pop anymore. He's pop capped. So this is where he'll assault in with all this spear. I don't know if I say it's quality over quantity as much as I have quantity, eventually I'll have quality, right? Because you just can't keep up with the gold influx that DauT has. So, Slam forced to engage. Revolticans should get some shots. He needs to protect them, so he's going to be forced to re-engage against the spears. This is a large plump. This will get rid of half of the Knights, even if you spike them down. And the Lancer wrap around. Here they come. He's going to force them back. That might expose the Revolticans as well. He charges straight in on top of them. Revolticans the target. A lot of spears still left alive here. He'll get rid of one of the Revolticans. The second one next to full is going to be burnt out. So no spread damage here. Slam will still come out ahead in terms of numerical advantage at the end of this, but now the Revoltican's gone with next to no gold. It's going to be very pricey to replace these units. And remember, DauT doesn't care because he was pop-capped. That was basically a screw it, I've got to do something with these type situation. Bombard cannon sieging on the keep. He's not even engaging it right now because these spears would start to clean up his Knights quite easily, especially without Revoltican assistance. All these villagers moving forward, they're looking for something new to exploit, but they can't find it. You keep trying to go down here in the mass of the stables, but you've already lost your keep on the low side. This exposes your whole military production line, and the infinite spears continue from DauT. This might be the last hurrah from Slam. I don't know how many moves he's got left in the chamber. His gold is completely dried up, and he knows he's behind fully on eco, right? And he knows when he's getting zerged like this and the new troops coming in, DauT is just infinite scaling. Like, he just doesn't stop with the military spam. Spears, cut off any retreat from the Knights. And there's enough spears to clean up these Knights here. He's losing the Spring Lords, which he tried to switch over to deal with the cannons. The Bombard's slowly moving in. The spear line continues. Barely any Knights left to call to his name. And Slam is just running out of troops. Everything moving to the front line, even the villagers. Probably to try and produce even more towers to hide behind him. And I don't know where you produce them at this stage. I don't know how you produce them quick enough. And DauT has done it. Infinite gold, didn't care about it, didn't really matter. Maybe you could have gained back in. But understanding food and wood are your best friends, and pokey sticks are perfect against the Cav, is how you slam into the ground. Pop cap hit again as DauT, look at the caravan. You know what, DauT just says, Slam, well done, buddy. You killed my gold caravan. But how do you kill the pointy stick caravan? And when are you going to kill it? Because it's chugga-chugga-choo-chooing all the way to your base and all the way to the victory as DauT has completely decimated Slam.